Hey everyone, and welcome to Cup of Three, a podcast covering reality shows on love and relationships. My name is Ashley. I'm joined by my co-hosts Agu and Mabel. This season, we're all about Married at First Sight, Season 10. Today, we're talking about episodes 0 and 1, so everything leading up to the weddings. Let's get to it.
Anyways, back to the show.
All right, so
I'm talking about Brandon and Taylor yet. So first,
let's talk about Brandon and Taylor. Yeah.
Okay. So what do we think about Taylor and Brandon after episodes 0 and 1? Mabel, what do you think?
First of all, Taylor has got it together. Like banging body, beautiful hair, serious work, smart, athletic. I'm like, dang. Talk about one in a million kind of person. She is awesome.
Yeah. She's.
And I'd say she's.
Didn't they call her Catch? That's her nickname.
Miss. Beauty and Brains is her nickname.
Beauty and Brains. Yeah.
Beauty and Brains.
Yeah.
She is definitely a catch, though. I was gonna say, she seems pretty humble too.
Interesting. I feel like after. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell this early in the season because I think everyone's still just like so nervous and they don't of course, I mean, who would have experience having a camera in your face during like an extremely important life event? But I felt like when she was at the like dress fitting with her friends and family, she just kept talking like, I don't know, there's confidence and then there's like a big ego. And I couldn't really tell what the difference or like what the dividing line was there. I was like excited for her that she was like so proud of like, they were saying, what do you think he's going to think when he sees you like walk down the aisle or something? And I was like, and she said something along the lines of like, oh, he's going to be like so relieved or like so excited to see me and like just think that I had his book and all this stuff. And like, I appreciate that confidence, but it's hard to tell what's nerves and what's just like, I'm the best thing there is.
Yeah, I do get like nervous talker a little bit from her, but that's a lot of people have that.
I'm suspending judgment until later, but that was interesting.
See, I feel guilty because in the beginning, so episode 0, when they were going over her and Brandon, I was like, she's out of his league, and I don't really believe in the league stuff, but I was just like, she's like on paper perfect, essentially. And then she had that line about she dates a lot, she works with a lot of nerds, and she needs someone with some swag. And every time this is episode 0, every time they cut to Brandon, he had those like baby weights, and he was just doing the little punches. I'm like, what? You look like an idiot. What's going on here? But episode 1. Like I get the swag. Like he's always he doesn't seem fazed by anything. He's pretty level-headed. He's like confidence is pretty high. Like I get it. I get why they paired them.
He seems like he could have some confidence, and don't get me wrong, I think he does. But he gave me the impression he's just really good at speaking, telling a good story, talking himself up. It seemed to me like he is good at putting on a facade, and who knows that I don't necessarily think that was a facade, but I got the feeling that it's like inflated a little bit.
What did he do for work again? What's his profession? Do you guys remember?
I remembered that you asked last time, and I got it.
Yeah, I got better notes about that because I'm curious. Like, I mean, he seems kind of like he would be really good in a sales type role because I agree. Like he is very articulate. He knows exactly kind of how to navigate situations and come across very smooth. And, I think that's a great skill to have. And I am hopeful that all of his confidence is like really rooted in him being secure in himself and not from like an overcompensation or a kind of like projection type thing. Because
it seems like it's genuine confidence in himself. It just definitely seems like and this may be just me thinking back to Keith in season 8 with his family. Like he's like put up on a pedestal with his family, and maybe it's just Jamaican culture. I don't know, but it gave me the impression that like he's had a lot of people, like Brandon's had a lot of people in his life tell him how great he is. and how he just like feels that, he's amazing. And he's just up there. And I definitely think that he genuinely believes that and has that confidence. I was just like, I don't know how he's going to. So, for example, you get the star soccer player on the team when you're like 5th grade. Then you get to high school, it's like, dang, everybody was a star on the team. You know what I mean? And they got to win. That's kind of how it felt to me. Like, he was a star in his hometown, and now he's like going to a bigger league, and I don't know how he's going to feel that. Then.
Oh, see, I got very different vibes from, like, if anything, I got that from her.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's too early. Obviously, it's too early to tell, but I think so far he's able to step back from the situation. So when he was with the guys and they're meeting each other for the first time, you could tell like Austin was pretty nervous, and and like you could see that they were like, one was nervous talking, the other one was like bright red and like pushed back, and he was just calm and able to interact with the room. Like, I think that's, I'm doing this based solely off of that one line she said, but if you're looking for someone who has a calm swag to them, like that is it. Like, that's being able to not be affected by what's going on around you. Like, that's it.
But yeah, I think, what better experience to like see how people handle themselves under pressure, and like, not to jump ahead too much, but Katie, like, talking about her ex reaching out to her and like her freaking out and that becoming a whole thing. Like, clearly she has like a hard time kind of like quieting that voice in her head and just being like, no, this is what I'm doing. But with Brandon, I haven't really seen that yet. He seems pretty flexible, and that's a good sign. So like, I'm feeling pretty good about them. I think they're like, I get why they were matched. They seem like they would be, really good together.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other note I have on them is the footage they use of him watering his baby little plants is ridiculous. Like, they keep on showing it. Like, there's no artwork in the room. It's just these tiny little plants, and he just constantly goes back and like.
But you know what they did with that though is they played the like really dramatic pop music, and then it was like him like talking about how he like his dad wasn't in his life when he was growing up. So first they have the shot of him on a park bench by himself, just like sadly looking around. And then they have him like sadly watering these little succulents in the window. And it's just like, it's just the worst. Like, their music is so bad. We talk about it every single time we watch it. Like, honestly, pay someone who's a professional to do this. And if you can't do like actually have lyrics in there, just get the vibe. Like, that's what music is. Get the vibe. And it's so corny.
I think it's like they don't want to pay the record labels to use their music, but it's like, you got to do something. You got to do something.
Get someone with a guitar, figure it out.
Did you have anything else to add about the couple, Brandon and Taylor?
No, I'm feeling pretty good about them.
I hated Taylor's wedding dress. I'm sorry. Like, I thought it was just.
You like it?
Did not flat. I know. I did not like it at all. Like. She is so skinny, such a really beautiful figure. And she has this like heavy fabric on her with like, it was like layered with like lace on top of it. And it just like wide shoulder, like material. It's just like, girl, please, like, get some. And maybe it's because it's, not fitted to her. She had like the clips in the back.
Yeah.
But I was like, that dress. And maybe when the wedding day it's actually fitted, it'll look better. I was like, I did not like that dress for her at all.
Yeah, no, I could see that. She does. Like, she has a great figure. I think it didn't fit quite right in that. I think, yeah, I hear you. Oh my God. Can you imagine though, like trying to find a wedding dress and like, I was telling him about this. I was like, it is a long process because you're trying on a sample and then they order your size for you. And then you go in and they like tailor it to you. And it's like this months-long process. So like, obviously they accelerate that for this whole situation, but like.
They've got the funds. They can rush.
You just get one off the rack. You get a sample dress. You want off the rack. You want in a store that's fitted like you.
Yeah, well, it depends on what your size is. For Taylor and.
Does the boo fit?
Oh, there you go. That could be a prediction line.
I'm trying.
Okay, Agu, do you think that Taylor and Brandon will last?
I'm going to go with yes. I think they're going to.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna be positive. Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. What about you, Mabel?
I don't know if it's me being pessimistic after seeing a lot of the reality unfold in that last episode, but I was like, I don't know about them.
She's not feeling it.
I'm not
feeling it. We're getting a no from Mabel. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good, so I'm going to say yes.
Also, the way she sold this to her family of, oh, I go on vacations and I see a bunch of happy couples together and I have no one with me. I'm like, that's not how you, that's not the line you use when you want to convince your family
You're getting married.
that this is a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting how everyone kind of like pitched it to their family. Because I'm sure, of course, if you're going to be going through this process, I would assume that a lot of them would have at least talked to at least one family member about, hey, I'm signing up for this show and I probably won't get on it, but like this is just a thing I'm doing. So like,
yeah.
And being a part of that family, you're at a restaurant with your entire family and there's a camera crew. I think you know what's coming.
Right.
You have also probably heard about this, going on for your whatever son or daughter or whatever. So like every time they do this and they still have this like shocked reaction of like, oh my God, you're getting married at first sight. Like as if that's the first time they've ever heard of this idea.
And take two, I need that reaction better.
Like,
well, and that's probably what they do. Oh my God.
To play devil's advocate, maybe not everyone in the family knows.
Yeah, but they focus on the
parents.
They do.
Or the primary,
yeah, they do.
Whatever, yeah, like grandparent, whoever is like kind of that primary role for that person. But I don't know the way they do all of that. I'm just like, why are we doing this?
I don't. Side note, it seems like and this is me having an AJ moment, but their camera crew, like, I really don't like how they keep editing sometimes, and they kind of like move the camera sometimes. You're like looking at the couple. I'm just like, can you? I know that camera's heavy, I'm sure, but can you just stop moving the camera?
He's like moving it from side to side.
And then they're editing sometimes. I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh no.
They need to hire whatever camera crew's on Jerry. Like that's the camera guys that you want. Like they're able to chase people down. Like that's the camera crew.
Hey, Love is Blind. They chased
They did.
Chased her down pretty well.
Gigi.
Oh my God. Gigi, she was sprinting. Like she was only on that ball of her foot running. Like
they need to give her a full show. I would watch that so hard. I'm just she's great TV. She's just great.
Do you ever wonder?
No one's gonna understand what we're talking about now.
For anyone who hasn't somehow watched Love is Blind yet, go watch that and then come back.
Pitch in for more shows. Was it? I can't remember whose sister. One of the guys' sister, and I think it was Brandon. Said that they think he's doing it for the wrong reasons, which was kind of like Taylor's line of, "I just don't want to be lonely on vacations anymore."
Right. Like
that is an awful line. That's so bad.
Yeah. I think my guess is that because they're going through this process, obviously they have thought a lot about it and how much they literally want to be married so badly that they're willing to go through this really public and challenging process. And so I think maybe everyone's having a little bit of a hard time articulating that whole journey in just like a 15-second, revelation to their family. True. Because everyone's just like, they just spit it out. And it's like, well, if you don't really explain why, like what led to that, or like why this is so important that you would take this risk and all of this stuff, I think it's just kind of like not really getting people to understand where you're coming from. So
that's true.
I mean, it's hard. Either way, it's a shock.
So, Ashley, you want to mention, or did you mention we wanted to talk about Derek and Katie next?
Yeah, so let's talk about them. Katie and Derek. Little Katie and tall Derek.
You go ahead and start, Ashley. What do you think?
Okay. So first of all, in all of the, I don't know what they call it. It's like all the shots that they take of them where they're like in their home.
Right. I'm sorry. Cut. The way you just said, first of all, like your voice cracked a little bit, like you were worried. Like, are you good? You good?
Let me just have.
You all right?
He's taking a mental moment to checking out his fiance.
I'm just checking. I was concerned.
Me. Is that better?
I'm joking. You're fine.
For no reason. Okay. So, Derek, whenever they do like the part where they just film them like in their environment, like just kind of like they always have them with a glass of wine on their couch or like leaning on something, like really thinking deep thoughts. You can tell he is like trying to act how he thinks that someone's supposed to act in that situation. It's as if like an actor playing himself. And so he goes so over the top where he like there's one where he's like outside in his back porch and he's like leaning on the railing and he's just kind of like shaking his head real slow and looking and like what did you just think about, like your childhood pet dying? Like why are you acting like this?
Yeah.
And of course the voiceover talking about how he's like never been in love and all this stuff. But like another thing with this man, he uses the word or the phrase true love a lot, which makes me think that he gets his idea of romance and love from like Disney movies or Hallmark movies. And that really worries me.
Nicholas Sparks
and
books.
Like, I know I'm going to go pretty hard on this guy for this season just because I just don't like the type of guy that he is. I think this is one of those things where he's like, we talked about this before of like, that's someone who I would never want to date, but like, I understand that they could be good for someone else. And so I just don't like him as a person, but like, he's really fine. But just the way that I don't know, he just strikes me as kind of immature a little bit. And I think he might have some like really unrealistic expectations about like what relationships are. And that might bite him in the butt later because like Katie is really sweet. She's like, I feel like we saw a lot more of her personality in episode 1, especially like at the bachelorette party. Like,
yeah,
had a few drinks in her. She's like,
oh yeah,
you know, like she was like very lively and seemed very comfortable and confident when like I really didn't get that from her before.
Yeah, so, it was a surprise.
I'm really interested to see how that all comes together.
I was concerned though how much she was like talking about her ex with people she just met. These are other brides you just met. And I thought about it and I was like, well, if you look back to who she first admitted, you know, okay, I don't know what the word for, like revealed that she is coming on this show, it was her parents and they're both, you know, new spouses. It was her mom and stepdad and dad and stepmom. And I was like, interesting, there's like no friends there. There's like no more family there. It's just like she's only telling these 4 individuals. It's what I thought. And I was like, maybe like, and I don't remember seeing her talk to a lot of friends either during these 2 episodes. So I was just wondering if like, that's like her way of, you know, she probably has a lot of friends, but like, no, you know, one true person she like goes to about everything. You know what I mean? It sounds like it looked like it was her mom, if anything. The way that like they interacted at the pick-on dress. But it seemed like she doesn't have that like one friend or close friends that she like unveils everything to. And that's why I thought maybe that now that she's at this bachelorette party with people her own age and, you know, she's kind of having a little bit of fun. She's like, I think I can trust these people and they can give me some good advice, you know?
Which is good. Like, I'm trying to remember who was with her at her fitting or like for when she was looking at dresses and stuff. And I can't remember exactly who was with her. I think it was her mom.
I thought there was a couple I thought there were a couple of people. I can't remember.
But yeah, that's a good point though. And she's the one, I wrote this down that she's diabetic. And so she had talked about wanting to start a family sooner rather than later because there's some complications the later in life you would do that. So I'm not sure how he feels about like having a family and stuff because I don't know if he talked about that a lot.
Who, Derek? Yeah, I'm not.
I thought he referenced it.
I mean, I'm sure they
not sure.
It, but there's a like timing consideration there.
I have so many thoughts on them. Honestly, like they have most of my notes.
Oh gosh, very opinionated on Derek
as a couple. So first for Derek, someone mentioned this on this show. They said he would look like Ashton Kutcher, and that is
Zach,
spot on. Spot on. Like he's Ashton Kutcher. he is a little chubbier cheeks, but it's Ashton Kutcher.
Same
like,
hair, same face shape.
Same face shape, like same like comedy, like humor a little bit too, seems like at certain points. So there's that. But the Katie situation, so I think this is going to be the next blonde hair from season 7, where like they just keep on bringing it up over and over again. But to be fair, she is in a relatively tricky situation. It sounds like, from what we know so far, she was dating this person for a few months. She felt like he was the one. She said, "I love you," it seems like. He did not say it back. And then he said something about he didn't want to be in a relationship. She applies for this show, gets on the show, and then he realizes, he calls her back and goes, "I do love you. We should be together. Da 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 da." Ashley, I think you said that she should just continue going on with the show, and then if it doesn't work out, she could, if he cares that much about him, essentially like be like, "Hey, I was wrong. Like, I wanted to stay with you," type of situation.
It's hard because the way I see it is, if you manage to get on this show, like, the stars have aligned. Like, you've got, like, you are one of, what do we have? 10 people on this season who were selected. Like, they're not going to necessarily come, like, that's your job, And if, I feel like if things were supposed to play out with this person before, like, you already have all the information that you need. Like, if the pressure's on and he, comes to Jesus and he comes for you and wants to, be in a relationship, whatever. But imagine, like, play that out. She says no to this show, leaves the show. Now, Derek never meets him. It's over. And she goes to be with this other dude. Like, imagine the pressure that puts on that relationship of, like, I said no to this huge experience for you. And so, like, this has to be good. This has to be important, because if that breaks up, or like things aren't as perfect as they think it is, or whatever, like, it's just, that's a hard place to walk back from. To me, it's just like, I would just cut your losses, as much as that sucks. It's easy to say that because I'm not in the situation, but from a
and the timing too. And I think also, like, because I think the biggest thing was that she was ready for marriage. The whole reason she applied to the show, and this ex was like, "No, like, I'm not moving forward in my life that much, like in that phase that way, like that much." He was just, wanting to stay where they were, and she was like trying to, start a family, talk about the future together, and he was there. And then her, trying to do what's best for her, move forward on with her life, got this opportunity, which, unfortunate timing for her, which is, it sounds like she's trying to think like, what, it's not fair if I enter a marriage before I'm ready, but I also didn't get to decide the timing of this marriage. Do you know what I mean? Like, it came to me, and now the date is set, and now this person is set, but mentally I'm not ready to get married, because I'm still, in an ideal world, would have this time to get over my ex, move forward, and then get married.
I think that's so in theory, definitely, like you said, like, you've made it this far, go on with it. So in theory, that's what she should do. But I think it's one of those situations where, she's already mentioned to other people that she's had second thoughts. It's funny, during her conversation with her parents, she mentioned it, and her mom was, what did she say? Her mom said, "He's not worth it on any level."
Yeah.
So clearly her parents do not like him.
Exactly.
But I think, like, so in this new relationship, everything is going to be based off of, I should have been with this other person. There's going to be a if with them.
Which really sucks.
If she does go through this, and I know this is a hypothetical at this point, but if she does go through and doesn't end up with doesn't stay with her husband, Derek, and then she goes back to the other person, now it's, so I'm your seconds, I'm your backup plan, like, so you don't actually care about me.
Maybe, but I think
it's one of those situations.
Is based on him. Like, will he see it that way? Or, to Ashley's point, will he see it like, will he be able to let's say, she stops the wedding and goes back to him. Is he that person to be like, oh snap, I got to get my ish together and now we're actually going to do this thing? But he already told you he wasn't ready for that and he didn't want to get married. Like, which one is
also they're 25 and 26. Exactly.
Super young.
Like, they're not. So I think that's the problem with this is she wants to get married, and 25 is a reasonable age, obviously. But like, we know most people our generation tend to wait a little longer until they get married. I think that could be the problem, because if she was going to go all in and be all into the marriage, that's one thing, but clearly she isn't. Like, she's been mentioning this many times already.
Yeah.
That basically anyone who will talk to her, she's basically her parents, it's
not helping her image.
These new people,
right?
I'm not feeling too confident about that. Unfortunately,
she's going to maybe fall into the trap of like, what is this called, like a self-fulfilled prophecy kind of a thing.
For sure.
Where I think she's telling herself the story right now that like, this is like some weird fairy tale stuff of like, oh, this is, I'm supposed to be married, but there's someone who I love. Like, this is every Disney princess whatever movie that ever existed of like,
well, she had that nightmare.
She had the nightmare. Of course, like our dreams tell us what our big emotions are into the surface. Of course, she's afraid, but I think if she's going to choose to go forward with the Married at First Sight, which I'm pretty confident she does, I feel like she has to then tell herself like, okay, this is the choice I've made. The choice is done. That relationship is done. And so I need to focus on what's happening right now. If she keeps going on with this narrative of like debating between this new, Derek, who she's just going to be starting to get to know, versus whatever the other dude's name is, and trying to compare and contrast, and is this better? Is that better? Did I make a mistake? Should I regret this? Then she's never going to be present, and she's never going to give them the chance to actually see if their relationship has legs. So I think like the mindset is going to be really important. I'm a little worried that she's a little bit too spun up in this, like, I mean, of course you would be in this like intense intersection of all these things. But I think she's just really got to like just make a decision and then be able to be okay with that.
Yeah, I think like right now she's in that like spiral of like thinking about all of this, and to the point where she needs to kind of like get a little shake to be like, snap out of it. And do the mature thing, be like, listen, you have to make a decision or the other. You don't get both, because you're not dating right now. You don't get to look at both and see which one you want at the end. Like, you are either getting married today or you are not, and you will, not have him as an option. There is no both. So I think like she kind of needs that in her. I think it was her mom that said, if I press her too much, she's gonna go back down. Or what she's going to close down, something like that. Down. And I'm like, I think she needs someone like her mom in this point, or someone else, some other confidant, to be like, listen, you don't get to keep debating this back and forth. You have to make a decision and stick with it. And you have to give your all, to your point, Ashley, like, you have to give your all if you're going to do this marriage to that decision, because that's the only way this marriage could work, if you give your all.
Yeah. So if I put myself, I guess I'll kind of extend this question as well. But if I was in her situation, I don't think I would go on with it. I think I would probably call off the marriage, only because she knows, like, yes, her parents don't like him, but going off of what she said on the episode, she clearly thought that he was the person at one point. If you thought that at one point, I don't know what it seems like you'd want to play that out to see what happens. And being in a marriage with a stranger, it's just risky. So it's like, I would much rather have the risk that I know than the hypothetical. Now, I'm not like that in most other aspects of my life, but with this, I think I would go with the person, because clearly she likes him. Clearly she feels she has feelings for him. So
yeah,
That's a good hypothetical. What do you think?
I don't know. I think my worries aren't about like how she feels about the ex, but how he has acted. Because if at one point he was able to articulate clearly that, hey, I'm not looking for something serious right now. It doesn't seem like we're on the same page. Like I don't want this serious thing that you want. I don't know. I feel like coming down to that kind of ultimatum moment of like her being on the show. It's not like she did that to him or anything, but like it's kind of a make or break it time. Like speak now or forever hold your peace kind of a moment where it's like, oh, hold on. I don't want to lose you. And I don't know. To me, I don't think you just suddenly become ready. Like I don't think you get scared into becoming ready for a commitment. I don't think you like, I worry about that part of it where like, I don't know if he's as good of a fit for her as she thinks he might be. Just
but like,
what she said, I don't know.
Sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone, though.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, I think it's, and honestly, I think if the roles were reversed and he said that to her and she said, replace commitment with, oh, I want to focus on my career. We would be having a completely different conversation right now. If he said, I want to marry you, and she goes, no, I'm 25. I want to focus on my career. Everyone would say, me included, would say, okay, that's fair. So I think it's one of those things that like, you can't focus on like who's right or wrong in a relationship. Like, okay, he was wrong. He should have said, yeah, I want to be with you. It took him a little longer than he.
But was he wrong? And that's ultimately what like was best for him. Like, okay, she wanted to be with him, but it sounds like he didn't. He didn't want to take it as seriously. So like, was it wrong of him to be like honest, to be like, I'm sorry, and I don't want to get married right now. That's not me. I think it would have been wrong for him to be like, all right, you want to get married? I can figure it out. Yeah, I want to get married too. You know what I mean? Like he stuck by what he thought he needed in his life. But I also think like just if I were in that shoes, just knowing how I am, if I had heard, X come back and say, oh, I actually do love you, et cetera, everything had said to her, I wouldn't buy it. And like, I'm more of a fan of like fresh start. Like I already saw your character. I already know what it was like to be with you. I don't expect any of that to change. Like, and the only way to change my future relationship is to change, something major. And yes, I do believe, words can mean something, but like, if that's all we're going off of right now, after so many opposite actions, I don't know if you can, give weight to his words just yet, at least. Maybe, give it the end of the season, he's going to keep showing persistence. And then, yeah, you absolutely do know, his words have weight to them. But until then, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. And at this point, it's like, so what happens, Katie? Like, you go back right away and he's just like, oh, that's all I needed to say to get you back? Okay.
That's the thing, though, is like, what would have happened if, when they broke up, he's like, I'm not looking for something serious. She's like, I am. Okay, we're going to have to part ways here. If there had been 3 or 4 months between then and when she applied for the show, like, what is it just the freshness of that happening? Like that kind of caused all these feelings to still, like, they maybe haven't processed everything yet. Like, I'm getting looks from
and a lot of us have gone through that. We're like,
am I giving crazy looks right now? Is that what's going on?
Like that.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think like a lot of us have gone through like stuff like that with our exes, where it's like we break up and it's like, oh, actually, you know what I mean? Like I had that with one ex that was like back and forth for a few years, and then, at the end of it, like you realize the first time you still knew you shouldn't have been together, but like you wanted them, And then I was reading an article that was talking about emotional well-being directly after a breakup, and it was talking about how there's like a shift, that used to be that one person you'd called about everything, a random soda can that had your name on it. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to call you had that person. As soon as that's over, it's like the exact opposite, change in your life, 180 flip. That's when you start to realize that, what you're talking about, Agu, like snap in reality, like, oh crap, like, did I really want this person? And so there's a moment there that's like, you're not yet stabilized. There's like super high, super low right after the breakup.
Sure. Yeah.
For sure. But I think like we have to also take into consideration that she might, because it seems like she's going to go through with this marriage and it might not work out. And then at that point, like it's a different conversation to, hey, you wanted to have a serious relationship. I wasn't ready. You went, got married, got divorced, and then you want us to like, it's like she's got to be willing to lose both.
That's true.
And like, that's fine. Like that's the situation. But
the point though is that she needs to prioritize what she needs and what she wants. Mm-hmm. And she is going to be at the end of this experience, whether or not she and Derek stay together, again, assuming that they're going through with the marriage, she is going to be a different person at the end of that process than when she is starting right now. And so dude, the ex or whatever, he's constantly changing as well in his own way. Maybe not at the rate that she will be, but like she's going to be tested and she's going to have to work through some stuff. And
that's true.
I used to think that like with relationships that the like timing was really irrelevant, that it's like if two people are supposed to be together, then like whenever their paths cross, like then that's fine. But I've grown to understand that like how important that timing is, because
big
the intersection of when two people have grown to be a certain type of person, the whatever version of themselves, that when they come together, it just works and it makes sense to go together. Like,
right.
We talk about this a lot. We're like, if Agu and I had met each other in college, even like a few years before we met each other, it would have been a very different situation than like how we met, 3 years ago. So I don't know. I think she just needs to just be clear with herself what she wants. If she is really head over heels in love with her ex, then sure, go try it. If that's what you really want.
Like the girl is having bad dreams about her wedding day. Like, I mean, come on.
That's not a good sign.
Like when you have been
like, she's anxious. She's like, this is,
I think so.
Like, of course she would have those, like either way, even if she was supposed to go through, not like, that's just, of course that.
Yeah.
I think there could be those dreams that tell you something you needed to know, that it's like revealing something to you. But I think this is one of those dreams that's coming out of stress that she created. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, of course, we don't know nearly as much about this other guy, but I just thought it was interesting because it's an interesting hypothetical. I don't think I'm sure there's probably been other people on the show who's still been thinking about their ex while they're on the show, but
and had their titties on their phone. Yeah.
Ooh, calling back Keith and Christine. Okay.
What was that season? What season was that
8,
again?
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Season 8.
Can you imagine?
He didn't delete his pictures.
No, just stupid. Just delete the pictures, dude.
One thing we do have to talk about is when the guys met up for the first time. And Derek, I don't know why they did this, but it was like they did a soundbite of Derek talking about Zach and then Zach talking about Derek. But Derek was there and he was like saying how, I don't know about Zach, like he looks like he has a lot of product in his hair and like and then you look at him and he's got the same haircut he probably had since he was a senior in high school. The same great clips, sitting down and Joanne gives him a cut. Like, come on, dude, you cannot be throwing shade about someone else's style when you look like this. No.
And then he was like, oh, I'll give him the hair game or whatever he said. I'm like, you never had the hair game to begin with?
He won this. He won the hair game.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then like I remember thinking after that, because I looked at his hair even more. I knew Zach had beautiful hair already. But like after, as Derek was commenting, I was like looking at Zach's hair more. I'm like, yeah, like I wonder how long he spends on his hair every day. And then like the next scene, he's like blow drying his hair. Like
they had fun with that. Whoever was editing this had a lot of fun with that. Yeah.
Character on this show.
Seriously.
Honestly, Zach needs to. I guess we could talk about that next. But
wait, we got to get predictions first.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Who's starting? Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Will the boo stick?
No.
Yes.
I'm not.
If the boo fits.
If the boo fits. Does the boo fit?
Babe.
I had one job and I messed it up.
You're fired.
One job. I wasn't getting paid anyway, to be honest. The Mamma Mia one was on purpose, okay?
Right. Sure.
Uh-huh. Sure. It was. All right.
You're good.
What was I going to say? So episode 0, I thought they were going to stay together because they're both equally nerdy. You know, like they both seem to have that lack of swag, which, hey, that's fine. I don't have that much. I get it. It's fine. It's cool.
Not salty at all.
Also, I'm being humble. I got plenty. Don't worry. Don't worry. But
okay, Brandon.
What was I gonna say? But after this episode, like, I mean, come on, she's having scary dreams. I'm gonna go no with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mamma Mia.
I'm gonna stick with my initial gut. I like that they just seemed super cute when I first saw them. I do think she needs someone who's a little more emotionally mature, maybe, because like she seems to really think through things and likes to talk them out with people. And if she is going to do it with her partner, he needs to kind of be available to talk. Mm-hmm. I think I still want to say yes with them though.
Okay. I'm going to be pessimistic with them because 1, I will never stop hating on Derek, and 2, I worry about like her ability to like make a decision and stick with it and not be kind of in her head about stuff. And I worry about his ability to be like flexible in what is going to be probably a big like learning experience for him. Mm-hmm. So I think they have a lot of kind of ground to build together, like their foundation. And so I don't feel super confident about them. So I'm going to say no. But I mean, hopefully I'm proven wrong because
man, I'm going to be defending people all podcasts clearly because I think he's all right. Like I think he's.
I mean, I feel like this is a theme already in our conversations. Like who tends to defend the men?
Right. That happens every time.
Speaking for the men here.
This is true.
It's okay. We all have our courts we're supporting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all wrong sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Wow. Smooth.
It's just admitting when you make a mistake. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that when I make one. But speaking, I guess we kind of mentioned his hair, so we should probably
Zach and Mindy.
Yeah. I guess Mabel, you should Mamma Mia.
I really just don't like Zach. He seems extremely arrogant, superficial. I just don't think he's a good partner. And even though I think Mindy would know how to, handle all of that and navigate it, I still don't just think they're a good fit.
Okay.
So you think they're not a good fit mostly because of him? You don't think?
I mean, like, there's a lot of things. Like, as I got to know more about Mindy, she felt to me like there was there's like
she's definitely gone through.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
She's gone through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's like gone through the woodworks and back.
Yeah.
I think like she's also seems very a deep person, very connected with her soul, like really kind of sees the whole picture. I really like the way that she thinks. She seems also super sweet. Her and her sister, like their relationship. I really felt bad though that her parents aren't coming. Like
that's rough.
I can't expect like she, earlier what you were talking about was like they've come to this decision of being on this show, right? Like they've submitted the application, they thought about it. They're just telling their parents out of the blue, hey, show up to my wedding in 10 days. Like that's kind of a lot to ask. So I don't know how I, can feel about that, but I still just feel really bad for her. And I just don't think that's a good starting point for a relationship that your own parents aren't going to be at the wedding.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's one of those things because we've seen this on past seasons, right? Like we've seen seasons 7, 8, and 9, where like there is a couple different individuals who their parents said they weren't going to come, and then they do this big emotional reveal where they walk in. So I'm hoping for her she gets that, and I know it is a lot to ask. I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to be in that parent's shoes of like, they always make comments like, I never imagined like this is how their life would go or whatever. And part of that, I think just being a good parent is just being honest with your kids and like just supporting them in like them figuring out life for themselves. Like you don't have any control over what the decisions they're going to make and like whatever idea you had in your head of who they're going to be. Like it's just made up. Like when they were born, you didn't really know them. They're just a little squishy baby who you don't know their personality or anything yet. So it's just like you're kind of telling this story. And so it seems so unfair to be like, oh, well, they're not adhering to the story. It's like, well, it's all just made up. And so I would like to think that, people would just be supportive and like, well, I'll be here. Like, I don't like it, but I'm going to be here because I want to be here for the big moments. But yeah, I'm hoping they like sneak in right before the ceremony and it's nice for her because she seems very sweet.
Yeah.
There are a lot of parents who use the line, I brought them into this world, I'll take them out. So maybe they have a say, but yeah. I think, if they don't show up, they would be the first group of parents to, I was going to say the first group of parents not to be there, but Matt.
Yeah, Matt and his parents. And I'm also, there is season 4, there was a couple that didn't have their parents show up.
Which, it's actually pretty amazing how many parents actually do come.
For a last minute wedding.
Exactly. Last minute wedding, fly in from wherever to. So I guess I could go next. I think he's been done dirty by the editors of this show, because we're saying this mostly because it seems like he's allergic to wearing a shirt. Every time we see him, the man has no shirt.
Free the nipple.
And what?
Free the nipple. He's freeing his nipples.
He is. He needs
to be like on an R&B like cover song, like singing with the wind in his hair, like blowing like 90s.
His hair like doesn't move because there's so much product.
That's true.
Hey girl, I know your man isn't treating you right. But the thing is, they did it's like the same thing they did with Brandon. It's the same 2 scenes that they keep on showing where he wasn't wearing his shirt. He did have that one line about, I've dated a lot of pretty women, and they're essentially saying something about like them being shallow, which that doesn't look good. Not the best line, but I think so. I definitely thought no, but seeing them together, and we saw a picture of the couples, was that People magazine or something? They look cute in the picture, so I'm solely fighting for them because they look
cute in the picture.
Cute in that picture.
I like the variety. We got to have some
We gotta support push and the pull. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good conversation.
Also, her sister, I'm sorry, one last thing, but her sister is the real MVP for having a conversation while like dealing with a baby like, while being on camera. It's just, and that was a lot of juggling. That was
literal juggling.
So,
a side note, what you just made me think of when you were talking about cutting back the same 2 scenes without his shirt on. Did you watch a Tiger King?
No, we haven't.
What?
No.
Are you like intentionally not watching the Tiger King because? Oh, okay.
I can't with the exotic animals thing. It just bums me out.
Okay, just wanted to know if that was like intentional. But anyways, there's this guy in the interview, and he never has a shirt on. And the whole interview process is like, you can tell they're sitting in the same chair for hours documenting this whole thing, and they just keep coming back to, you know, their conversation. And they yeah. And the entire time he's like this big dude, like laying back, like chest full of tattoos, arms and everything. And he's just every time like talking like this. It's kind of funny. And that was what he was known for. And then I watched this one where I don't watch a whole lot of daily, like those news channels. So there's someone who's like famous or whatever on there that's like interviewing all the cast members from their show. And he goes, "Whoa, you own a shirt."
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Like you can't agree to take off your shirt. Like if they say, "Hey," which we have there's an interesting note I have concerning shirts on a later couple that we're going to talk about, but like you gotta, like they're going to say, "Hey, take off your shirt. You're doing a workout. You gotta be strong." You go, no, I'm good.
I thought when you said shirt, so real quick. When you said shirt, I thought of Brandon because when I was watching an episode with Marquise, I hated his red shirt under that blue tux when he was trying out in the store, and he said he loved it. I was like, wait, he loves it? I didn't realize that was the shirt he was wearing all day. So I was like, oh, I just like, is he gonna wear that shirt for his wedding day? That's what he's feeling. That's the only thing I want
to say. Yeah, here's my thing with Zach is at first, a lot of my impressions of him were kind of what we were talking about, where like he feels a little bit shallow and like a little bit like, oh, I'm just this big, muscular, attractive guy, and I've dated so many models, but they were just so shallow, and I'm looking for something real, you know, like a real woman. And it's like all that bullshit where it's like, okay, whatever. But after we saw him talking to his friends, like at the little cafe thing where he was like telling them that he was going to be married at first sight, and they were all kind of like pushing back on him and like kind of asking questions and stuff. I think there's something to be said about the people that you surround yourself with, and they didn't give me the same vibes that he did. So I'm hoping that means that he has a little bit more depth to him than what we've seen so far. I'm kind of on the fence with it, but like especially his female friend, who I think she was blonde, but they like had her talking about it, and I don't know, she just seemed like the kind of person who wouldn't hang out with someone who is just a total jagweed. Like, like they seem genuinely like interested in him being okay and like invested in like a real relationship, friendship kind of a thing. So
yeah, true.
So that made me kind of pull off the brakes a little bit on him. But yeah, I still like, I feel like in all of his like casual social situations, like his general fashion sense is just like muscles, like just wear a tight shirt and like your muscles are the fashion. Like it just, there's nothing to it. It's literally just t-shirts or like complete lack of shirt.
I mean, he had like the blazer with the shirt. Like it was fashionable.
Fine, but it's just like, just because I can't.
Just because the man spends 45 to an hour on his hair.
He doesn't have time to put on a button-up shirt.
Let the man live. Let the man live. Yeah. I mean, they definitely. It feels like they're pushing us towards that. He's a gym bro vibe.
I can see how you're all. Ashley, what you also mentioned about he seems a little more humane after you get to meet his friends, because I thought that same thing. He had some good friends.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her. Just the amount of stuff she's gone through. Just wow, like she's a champ. That's a lot. It's like sister passed. Was it her sister? Her sister overdosed, and then your unexpected pregnancy, then a miscarriage. Like my goodness, that's
so and to still be labeled optimistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Props to you.
Well,
right.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm just cautious too. I don't know. Some of the general vibe I got from her when she was talking, like mostly just from her body language, was she just seems to kind of hold herself very small. And so it made me kind of like, I literally wrote down, she seems fragile. like literally the way that she's talking, especially when she's talking about like the relationship that she wants and, you know, that kind of stuff. It seems like she's kind of like scared to go after that or something. And like, obviously she's gone through awful things and has, you know, this very real trauma that I don't think we have a sense of like how recent that was, but like, who cares? That's still like big stuff to go through. I
think it was a year or two.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a lot to carry and everybody has their own stuff, but I'm hoping she's in a like good solid place because the way her sister described her, it seems like she is. It's maybe I just kind of misread like her because I don't know. I don't want to like be like, oh, she's been through bad stuff, so now she's like broken or something because that actually makes you like a stronger person because you've been through like the whole rigmarole of terrible things. But
which I think then, you know, if you go through some stuff and you become a stronger person, you also need a stronger person by your side. You know?
And someone who's emotionally mature right there with you who can handle it if you want to talk about stuff. And
exactly,
I would have done like the snapping fingers they do when they're doing poetry because that was very deep. That was profound. That was good. But I don't know what that's going to sound like on this recording.
We can get a little, oh my gosh, do you know how in recording studios they have those buttons that you can click to make sounds? You should get like one of those. It's like
a soundboard.
Yeah, thank you. Something so simple. You know, click the little snapping.
I like it.
Yeah, or it's like if I could have like a Baptist church, like a or something like that going in the background, I'd be out to do that.
way back there.
I'm sorry, that was I could sense the uncomfort.
As you were I hated myself in that moment.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, so I guess conclusion, I'm not even going to try because I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, but what do you guys think in conclusion so far? How will you rate them?
Voting. Oh no, you should try. Do the boo thing.
The boo thing?
Yeah,
sorry. No, I'll do it later. I'll do it next time. It's cool. It's cool. You gotta keep everyone on their toes. You never know where I'm gonna throw it in.
Okay, so do you think that Mindy and Zach are going to stay together?
Can you hear that? Drum roll?
Yeah, I can hear that. I'm going to go with everything we know now. Yes.
Yes. Okay. What do you think, Mabel?
No. I think that Zach has some good friends, but I'm still not convinced he is fully the nicest person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say yes for them because I feel like she'll be able to kind of coach him into the person that she needs. I mean, she's a figure skating coach. Like, she can do anything.
She's got it. And she gave her coach a lap dance on her bachelorette party.
Right. So she's very empowered. Look.
Her boss. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, last note. So, sorry, what's her name again?
Mindy.
Oh my goodness. Mindy. Okay. I wanted to confirm. So, her best friend, while they were like dress shopping, like it seemed like she was in love with her. It was so funny. It's like, she's not just this. I want her husband to know that she's amazing and spicy and cool and da-da-da.
You need someone like in your life. Your personal cheerleader. That is amazing.
Just go to her. Just tell her you love her already. God.
Queer spinoff that we have always needed in Married at First Sight.
Yes.
It's her and Austin. Austin's friends also. The same.
Oh, he was hyping up Austin so hard. He's like, and he's got great hair and he's tall and like
he's so attractive. And I'm sorry, I was like,
I think he might have said luscious locks at one point.
Way, I didn't hear that part.
What grown man is using the term luscious locks?
We all need that person.
I mean, I might use it now.
I'm here for
that
energy.
That person in our lives that are like, that's like, you know, number one cheerleader. That's all. Like, we need that. Everybody needs that.
There's a lot of cheerleading. Like, that's the type of cheerleading you do when you're like, yo, leave your man. Or
Yeah, woman.
Austin, would we leave your girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's hop on over to Jessica and Austinville, because we're talking up Austin and his luscious locks.
And that's what we call a smooth transition.
You're welcome.
That was very smooth. It was nice.
All right, we're learning.
I should stop leaning into the mic.
All right.
Okay, what do we think about Jessica and Austin?
I'm feeling better about them than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, yeah, she's super sweet. She's like the keeper, her nickname is, but I mean, she seems to lean into it a little too much sometimes. She seems to be like relying on that to like define herself sometimes. But, and I'm only taking this off of the wedding dress scene. First of all, loved her wedding dress. That was my favorite dress. She was like, I want my man to know I'm also sexy. You know, that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, you know, leaning into all parts of your life. I like it. All parts of your personality. Thought that was pretty cool. So I'm feeling better about them. And then even after, you know, Austin and his dependency on, you know, what his mom wants for him in the relationship, I did think that he's got a lot to offer, as like, he just seems very giving, very much like just going to make a really good, solid partner. And Jessica seems like a really good, solid partner too, I think.
What do you think, Agu?
Yeah, I think you make some really good points. I think I do get a little bit of a Miss Goody Two Shoes type vibe from her a little bit. But I think, and I'm only saying that from the lap dance scene, but like, okay, she doesn't want to dance. Like, that's okay. That's fine. Awkward. Yeah. It's like, I was not expecting to kind of go back. The person who was being like all over people was not the person I was expecting. That was interesting. But let's see. I think Austin seems like a really genuine, like, good guy so far. The locks are luscious, according to his friend. I don't know how she is going to, like, on paper they work. So I feel like I should say yes, but I'm not sure about it. I'm not getting that. So hopefully maybe the more episodes we see, you know, we get to actually see them together. But like, it sounds like her sister applied for her to get on the show. So like, all the stuff we're talking about, like, you want to be, and I'm sure other people that's happened too, but it feels more like it's time. I need to find somebody. Vibes from her. And but you know, I think overall she seems like a good person, and I'm just I want it to work out, but like, if I had to say it right now, I'd probably say no, honestly. Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, first of all, it seems like she should be one of the main characters in a Hallmark movie. Like, she grew up on a Christmas tree farm.
Totally.
Clearly she's supposed to, like, the love of her life was somebody she grew up with, and like, they have a neighboring farm, and, you know, they're supposed to meet at a farmer's market and fall in love and like raise goats together or something. I don't know. But I think I agree, Mabel. I think she really holds on to that identity of, like, she describes herself as wholesome and as, you know, like, being the keeper, literally, of, like, you know, I'm kind of like this embodiment of my family and community's values. Like, I'm that girl, like the literal girl next door. And I think I kind of get the sense that she's never really either pushed herself to or had the opportunity to step out of that a little bit and like get out of what that means. And I kind of see a lot of myself in her, because I think if certain parts of, you know, growing up had been different for me, I could have kind of ended up in like that sort of lane of being like growing up in a very, you know, kind of strict but conservative household where it's like very family values type of thing. And I don't know. I want her to I really want her to grow in this experience. And I'm hoping that Austin is a good partner to her and that they can really grow together, because I think they are matched really well. I feel like she's limiting herself a little bit by being like, this is who I am. You know, it's like, you're not wholesome. You are Jessica. Whoever Jessica ends up being today, tomorrow, or 5 minutes from now. And like, it's funny you guys brought up the thing about like being at the bachelorette party and everything, and how they like went up and were like dancing and like all of this stuff. And like, I've taken pole dancing classes with just a group of literally random women, strangers. And like, you'd be surprised how uncomfortable everyone is on that first class and how different they are on the last class. Like after even 8 weeks of being in that environment with supportive people, it's like, it just kind of depends on how much you can get out of your own head and just be like, this is just what I want to do right now. Like if someone wants to judge me, that's none of my business, you know? And like, a lot of people in that situation feel uncomfortable. Like in my classes, people who literally opted to be in that situation felt uncomfortable. So like,
right.
It's a weird situation. So like, I don't knock her too much for that, but yeah.
So did she give you the vibe of like Bobby? Sorry, did she give you the vibe of Bobby kind of when you were saying all that? Like she doesn't feel like she expands. Okay,
a little. We're like, she's fully capable of it. It's just maybe she's just kind of not there yet in her whole journey of life. God, I hate that. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am with them. Right, like I think they'll be fine, but I want her to like really embrace who she is and not be so rigid with how she thinks about herself.
Yeah. Also, they're going to be a tall couple. They've got that going.
I'm here for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're overall kind of a boring. Like we don't really have that much information on them at this point. So
yeah, that's true.
You mentioning Brandon, not Brandon, Bobby. Because I like as soon as that season, as you know, as soon as I saw Bobby and Danielle, I was like, yep, they're staying together. First episode. So you comparing them to them makes me want to say yes, but no, I'm gonna go no for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mabel?
I think yes for them. They seem to just be, as you put it, Ashley, just a good match.
I'm gonna say yes as well. I think they'll be okay. Again, they just seem kind of boring. So it just seems like they're like not boring in a bad way, but that they're just kind of like, this is what I want. And that's, just going through the whole process.
Yeah.
They might not take a whole lot of risks and explore, the marriage for the next 8 weeks that we see with them.
Yeah.
They might just, play it safe and have a PG, show.
Watch them be the like couple that gets arrested and
yes, please drama.
Yeah, just all the drama. We're gonna cut back to this days later. Like, what were we talking about? We were wrong. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So last up, we have Meka and Michael.
Eminem.
So what do you guys think about them?
I mean, you could go first because I know you like Meka quite a bit.
I do like Meka. I think I just like she talks about growing up and kind of like watching over other siblings and being kind of put in that type of responsible role pretty early. And I can relate to that for sure. I think she kind of has this idea in her head of like, I have to be the best in order to say like I'm successful, and like kind of a bit of a perfectionist mindset, which is good because ambition comes along with that. But like when she talks about her career and she's like, okay, how am I going to make my 6 figures before I'm 30 and all that stuff? Awesome things to think about. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I think at the same time, maybe she has a hard time like being okay with where she is now, of like, look at how far I've come. Like I've overcome these things, these challenges, and I've kind of made it into a good situation where, I'm taking care of myself. I'm happy. I'm, in a good spot. So yeah, I do really like her. I think she's like really go, and he's Michael's going to have to kind of keep up with her. But he's also very like he's got a lot of different things going on. Like he teaches yoga. He's got like a couple of different things he does.
Yeah. He says he works out 5 days or 6 days a week. He has the theater.
Yeah.
He teaches. He mentors kids, it seems like, or something involving.
He just has a lot of jobs, working
with kids,
which in that way is very ambitious. Like he just does not, settle basically. So I thought that was going to complement each other too.
Right.
For sure.
So like I think in that way they're going to kind of respect each other's hustle in that way of like, being really rounded out as people and having these big goals and ambitions. I think they'll be okay. I don't know. I don't have a lot of like big feelings about them. I just think they're good.
I think they're very mature. I think they're both hustlers. It seems like they're both very ambitious. I think I would say he's a little bit more ambitious because he's actually doing these different things while she was like, I hope to be like, everyone can hope to be the CEO of their company. Like, what are you doing to make that happen? But that's aside from the fact. So all that being said, I don't think that they're going to make it. I feel like their personalities are going to clash a little bit. And if he is very calm and which he appears to be, they might be okay. But if he pushes back, like I could see it being a situation where like he's going to have to be the one to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to make this right. It's not going to be her. Like if they get into a fight, he's going to have to be the one to make it right. I don't really see her being you know what, my bad, I'm going to correct this type of situation. So, but overall, I like them both. I think they're both good people. But yeah, I'm going to say no. Mm-hmm. That's a no for me, dog.
I think like they seem like to have a lot going on between their couple. First, I definitely think they're both very ambitious. He's definitely quieter about his ambition than she is. Mm-hmm. She's just like very, advocating for herself. And I think that they're going to find each other attractive in that, ambition, that drive that they have. And they just both seem like, kind of like to have fun people. And they seem to be just have similar vibes sometimes to me. So I think like they're going to complement each other that way. They're going to just get along that way. I was shocked. It seemed that she seemed very judgmental at times. Like she was quick to just have an opinion on things, which, good or bad, have your opinion on things. But I don't really think that she thought through a lot of opinions and just kind of like quickly jumped to them.
She feels
what I saw.
Yeah, sorry. She feels like a kind of act first, think later kind of person, which in some situations that's great.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Sometimes
it's good and bad. Everything's good and bad, but I guess I could see that too, like that becoming potential issue of like she doesn't seem to be one to kind of like sit and kind of read the room for a while. Like she'll just kind of jump right in.
Whereas he does seem kind of like that, very calm, very pensive, which I think that could work well for him. It could be a balance, yeah. I'm curious because though they're so different in that approach. She's act and he's think first. They're going to have some heated arguments. Like I can see them get into a brawl.
Okay.
Just at least like shouting match kind of thing. I can see that.
For sure.
Can you see him shouting though? Like
I don't think he would be the one to shout. I think she would be the one to shout. But I can just see them getting into like some nasty arguments because when you have those two very different personalities come together and try to like decide on the same thing, they really butt heads. You can get through it. Plenty of couples do, but they definitely can butt heads.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jamie and Elizabeth can do it. Any couple can make it.
I mean, are they doing it? Are they
together? They're still together.
They technically have not signed divorce documents, but otherwise, I don't know if they're.
I'm not saying it's healthy, but they're still together.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Agu, you said no for them. You stand by that?
You know what?
What do you
I
think?
changed my mind. Also, he mentioned the line about he likes women with natural hair, which was really dope. And she has nice natural hair, so there's that.
But they cut right to her straightening her hair.
I know that was some interesting,
shit right there.
Yeah, just these editors, man, got no chill, none. But super last thing, because I feel like I've been talking a lot. When he was trying on suits or tuxedos, whatever. When he was trying that on, his friend had his shirt backwards. I don't know if you noticed.
Inside out and backwards.
Sorry,
What?
inside out and backwards. So originally he put his hand up, and I was like, "Why is there deodorant mark underneath his arm?"
So embarrassing.
And then they showed the back of him for some reason, and you could see like the tag. So it's definitely a inside out shirt, but I have a theory. So I think he had like a graphic tee that had some type of design on it,
Logo.
Some type of logo, and they're like, we don't want to spend this entire time blurring out the logo. Can you just flip your shirt inside out?
Don't they blur other things though? They like blur random water bottles and stuff.
Yeah, but
unless they just don't want a whole like emphasis on this person standing and their whole half of their body is blurred out. Like maybe
it's like rap videos where like the guy's wearing some Gucci shirt and like Gucci didn't sign off on it, so then they're just like blurring his shirt the entire time. It's like, yeah, this is stupid, man. Like, just, So I think that's what would happen. But he looks insane. Like he's got a inside out shirt.
It looks, yeah.
Oh, man didn't deserve this.
I saw it too. I was just like, why is he like? There's this just huge deodorant spot in his armpit. Like he's standing there and like I was trying to focus on what he was saying. It was just so distracting.
Why couldn't they just put it? He's literally in an apparel shop. Like why couldn't you just have him?
I'm like it's their responsibility to make sure that like people aren't looking crazy. Like that's not a good option to tell someone to turn their shirt inside out. Like come on. Yeah, like have him just sit there in a tux and watch his friend come out in a tux.
Question, now that we're on the final couple though, Marquise pointed this out to me. Mm-hmm. Did they all go with dark blue tuxes?
So it looked like that was going to happen. And I get it. Like the dark blue tux is hitting, Like I want a dark blue tux.
They do, but it also
he one person had a white suit.
Okay.
That I recognize, like on the actual wedding day, they showed only a brief clip of it, but they had a white suit. So one person at least stood out. But yeah, all of them were like, oh, this dark blue suit.
But then I started looking around the shop and I was like, wait, they have a bunch of dark blue suits just up on the models. Like maybe they're trying to sell the dark blue.
Yeah. Okay. And like the art behind them had people wearing dark blue suits as well. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like
it's Michael. It's Michael. He has black pants, white top, white jacket. Yeah, but everybody else has the dark blue.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that salesman was probably like, okay, I guess I'll just put an order in for 50,000 blue suits. Thanks, guys.
Get some discounts, the same amount of revenue. That's great.
What do you think, Mabel? Do you think that Meka and Michael are going to stay together?
I think so. I think they're going to complement each other well. I mean, I can see them wanting to go back and forth, and maybe this is going to work because of arguments, but I think they can get through it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's the one we all have consensus on. Everybody else,
yeah. I
think everybody else, we had at least one holdout. Yep.
I like that, though. I like that we, are going to all have different opinions and views.
I feel like you guys are just crapping on Ashton Kutcher because he looks like Ashton Kutcher.
Not because he looks like Ashton Kutcher, but because he acts like a child.
Yeah, because he's a man-child. Come on.
I mean, Ashton
Kutcher. I feel like it's a common. I feel like there are themes now after watching these many seasons. They have a man-child every season. They have someone that applies that's a mama's boy. They just don't always choose that person. Mm-hmm. They have they have their go-tos. They have one that always wants babies like tomorrow.
Right. Like, I need to be pregnant yesterday, please.
Yes. I have not met my husband yet, but I need to be pregnant.
Who's the one who wants babies like tomorrow in this season?
Katie.
Well, she just talked about the timing aspect because of being a diabetic.
Yeah.
I don't think she said specifically like how quickly she wants to move there, but
yeah, I don't think she's as bad as some other seasons.
Oh man, like season 7, like there were people who were making it clear, like babies.
There's
like someone announced, "Oh, we're pregnant," and then she goes, "What about me?" Like, can't you just think that? Like, you don't have to say it out loud. Like, come on.
That was what, season 7? Because Danielle, she said that they, said that they were pregnant. Who was it?
That wanted to be pregnant?
Amber, right?
Amber wanted to be pregnant.
It was
From Amber and Dave. And she was like, what about me?
And then he announced the divorce. I'm like, oh. So he was pregnant, he wants a divorce. Well, no, there's a couple on Ashley and Anthony earlier, way earlier season. And they like are meeting each other's family the first time. And Ashley's sister is like super overbearing. And she like meeting the family, they're already talking about babies. Like she's gotta get pregnant. Like,
no, slow down.
And Anthony's like,
get out of my uterus.
No, this was Ashley too. Like she was very serious from the very beginning. Like they're having kids quickly, so she was on board. She wanted this, so it was just kind of funny.
That's a great match, I guess.
Guess so.
Yeah, and like even Bobby and Danielle, like that was fast, like relatively. That's like what, 8 months in or something, and
I don't even think it's that. Like 4 months.
Yeah, because it's like the 8 weeks plus a couple months until the reunion. So I have a question for each of you. So we talked about saying our favorite couple at the end of each round of this. So that being said, Agu, do you have a favorite couple yet, and why?
Favorite couple, Brandon and Miss what's Beauty and Brains, / works at a bourbon company that we can all tell what type of bourbon because you block the top of it. Like, okay, but that's aside from the fact. So yeah, I'd say them right now, which is a surprise because I was not a fan episode 0, but I think Brandon's got this, Brandon's got this. Just hang in there, man. You'll be fine.
Hang in there. Okay. Mabel, what about you?
If I had to pick a favorite couple right now, it would be Meka and Michael. I just think they're going to be strong.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it would have to be Jessica and Austin, just because they seem very safe. Like we said, like this is a Bobby and Danielle of this season, where they both seem like pretty vanilla, like pretty beige khakis, kind of, looking for a very specific thing and just kind of going with it. So I think they're going to be consistent. Okay, well, this is probably the longest episode ever recorded in history. I think it's hard because it's 5 couples. So it's a lot.
This might be longer than the actual episode that we're recording.
It's going to cut out. Sorry, guys, only have about 30 seconds of content.
All right. So if anybody stayed with us this long, thanks for hanging in there. We appreciate it. We're going to work on it.
We're going to get better. We're going to get
up,
We're going to get better. It's our first one. Okay. We're getting there. Training wheels.
Thanks for listening to Cup of 3.